Hi everybody, this is an answer to a question that somebody sent me via YouTube here. One person sent me this video clip and said that they want to remove these titles from this. And that is actually quite easy in Photoshop, but not in After Effects or Premiere actually. There's really not, with Photoshop they have what's called a content aware application that you can just basically circle around these items right here and it tries to fill it in with those pixels. It has issues doing that frame per frame and making every frame look. It does it based on every frame, and and every frame's a little bit more random than the next, so it just doesn't work for video. Something like this, especially with such dynamic changes here over the video, where you're getting colors changes, and you get like trees and houses and just all this and water and all this different stuff. It just is almost nearly impossible to remove it, even within After Effects there. And that could be potentially done if you had kind of like the original photo of every single image here, which so that's just the point being that's going to be very, very difficult. So probably the best way to get around that is actually zooming. But a lot of people, this is the mistake that a lot of people make with zooming, is they'll just go up to their scale. They'll select the video inside of Premiere, they'll go up to scale, and they'll just grab it and zoom until it's gone. But what that's done there is it's zoomed from the center point right here, and it's actually got rid of the video up here, over here on all sides, and that has taken down the resolution way more than it needs to be taken down to get rid of those titles in there. So the best way to handle this is to minimize the amount of zoom that you're going to do, and what you can do is change your anchor point from the center point to up here. So when you're scaling it, it's just scaling down to the bottom right here, and once it gets rid of this, you're just getting rid of frame information down here and a little bit on the side as well, but you don't need to get rid of it on all four corners, which is really going to decrease the amount of your resolution. First of all, I'd say if you have 1920 by 1080 footage or higher, use that. It'll zoom a lot better. This footage here that was sent to me is 720, so it's still okay, but just some ways of doing that. Let's go up to our effect tab here. So if you select the clip, go up to the effect controls tab, and we're going to be changing basically position and anchor point. We're going to hit this little motion tab right here, this little motion frame right there, shows this wireframe, and right here in the center, let's zoom up to this here, let's hit the tilde key and look at this. You've got your anchor point, it's set for dead center. We want to get it up to this point right here, and you can grab it, and you can drag it up here, but you can't really lock it right onto that perfect point right there to minimize the scaling. So I'm just gonna drop it there, and now look at our attributes here. The position has to be basically, it's gonna be at 0, 0, which is this top left-hand corner, and your anchor point will be at 0 and 0 as well. So we're just gonna click on these things here. You can see how these have changed. Watch this. I'm gonna hit undo. Right there's the center point for this video, for its position and for its anchor point. But I'm going to change each one of these to 0, 0, and there it changed the position, moved that center point up there. Now I'm going to change the anchor point to 0, 0 as well, and now the anchor point is exactly right up in this corner, and now we can actually just scale it. Now we can scale this, and now notice how it does it to the bottom right here, and it keeps that top left hand corner alone, and you can do it to where that just the graphics just barely disappear, and we've only zoomed that 118%, whereas before if you did it from the center point, let me reset this and show you what the center point is. If we just did a zoom till it's gone here, we had to zoom up to 100 and almost 150% as opposed to 118%. So doing the anchor point gets you 118% on this specific clip, and that works a lot better. And now as we play through this, the footage still looks pretty decent. It has lost a bit of the resolution, and one thing you could do, this is 720 footage, so it is already the resolution is not that high. We could even potentially go to our effects tab down here, type in sharpen, and we're just going to slightly sharpen the pixels on this. I'm going to drop that onto my, drag and drop that onto my clip here, go up to effect controls, there's my sharpen, and what you'll want to do is take this up. I'm going to try 50 right now and see what it does. And that went really super sharp. That's probably going to be way too sharp. I mean, if I go tilde to the full screen here, let me do an undo. There's before, there's after, and this looks a little too kind of fakey with the sharp edges, so that's probably a little too sharp. So I'm going to change that down to 25, hit enter, and now what I'm going to do is turn this off and back on, so I have a move as an undo. So now watch this, as I tilde, I'm going to do Control Z, undo, and Control Shift Z to redo, And that looks pretty good right there. That looks a little bit sharper, looks about where I want it. And that's about all you can do to get rid of those titles right there. If you have, like I said, if you have 1920 by 1080 or higher resolution, it's going to work. The zoom is going to work a lot better. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck with this. And 720, that doesn't look horrible. I mean, if you're uploading that to the web, that does not look too bad. There's a full screen of it. Let's play it back. Not horrible. It could be better resolution, but that's kind of the way to deal with something, especially if you got it down in the bottom right-hand corner trying to get rid of it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.